The Uinta Range is strange. They lie in the middle of the American West, a region known for its deserts and red soil. And yet this little range, just a few hours from Salt Lake City, forms the headwaters of three major rivers: the Colorado to the south, the Columbia to the north, and the Great Basin to the east. So you may be asking, why, royalty-free tuner? Why is this mountain so special? How does this one mountain range in the middle of Utah pull so much water? Have no fears, for I have a short answer for you. Most ranges in North America lie north to south. The Appalachia, Rockies, Cascades, Sierra Nevada all run perpendicular to the Uinta, which itself runs east to west. This orientation may not sound like much, but it completely changes how the weather systems interact with them. When moist winds are blowing across the northern Pacific, it usually runs west-east, as that is the prevailing wind. This means that usually when rain comes across western America, it gets dumped in the Sierra Nevada, drying out the clouds, the classic rain shadow effect. But during winter, the winds in the higher atmosphere shift slightly more to the north and blow straight into northern Utah. And because of the orientation of the Uintas, when the rain hits them, it's forced to rise all at once, not along a long diagonal like north to south ranges. As it gets pushed up for long periods of time, due to the orientation, it has to stay higher up in the atmosphere for longer periods of time. Rising air coolers, cool air condenses, and condensed air rains. So the Uintas act as a massive fan, forcing wet clouds to condense and deposit all their rain. But height plays a role too. The Uintas are some of the tallest peaks in the contiguous United States outside of the Rockies, reaching over 13,000 feet high. Their altitude forces air to rise even higher than smaller hills, where it cools further and loses even more of its moisture. By the time the clouds pass over the summits, most of the water has already fallen as rain or snow over winter periods. Their isolation also matters. There are no nearby ranges to block incoming storms. When Pacific weather systems move inland, the Uintas are the first major barrier in northern Utah, and the last before the land opens up into Wyoming. That means almost every passing system during winter has to climb over them, dropping whatever moisture they've picked up during along the Pacific Ocean. Even weak fronts leave snow on the peaks, and over time that builds up into deep, lasting snowpack, which will melt in summer. As spring begins and the prevailing winds fall back to the Sierra Nevada, a different source of moisture feeds them. Warm, humid air from the Gulf of California moves north with the southwest monsoons. When it reaches Utah, the Uintas are once again in the way. The air again rises, cools, and condenses into afternoon thunderstorms that roll across the high ridges before fading into the dry basins below. These sudden afternoon storms are synonymous with the Uinta range over summer. These two different weather patterns allow the Uintas to have year-round watershed, which allows Utah inhabitants to in turn have reliable water in the middle of the desert, with the Uintas being a key source of water for Salt Lake City and irrigation for farming in the region. The Uintas are perfectly positioned and perfectly shaped to pull water from the air year-round and acts as the lifeblood for Utah's water. In a state mostly defined by desert, these sideways mountains are an anomaly in the US. The Uintas shouldn't get this much rain, and this region shouldn't get this much rain, but because of their height, isolation, and unusual east to west direction, they do. In the middle of Utah's dry interior, they capture moisture from two different weather systems and turn it into rivers that feed half the west, a small range with an outsized role in keeping the desert alive.